What's up, guys? Back at it with more Trojan X. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It helps out, means a ton. But with that being said, we got to get into it because we got chapter 22 and it was absolutely amazing. Seriously, every time we get a new chapter, my excitement for this series keeps going further and further and further through the roof. It was already up there drinking Mai Tais, getting some sun, just chilling. Now it's somewhere up there, I don't know. Either way, getting into it, we get a quote from the war Choujin Quem, otherwise known as the president of the Choujin nation. There's a whole nation of these dudes, and they invaded, and y'all really tried to fight back? Hell no, I'm not a part of that fight, dude. I am not enlisting to fight against a bunch of like Tokyos and Azumas and Ricardos and Simons and Mothers and no. Nah, take the homeland. I'll find a new homeland. I find a piece of land, build a home on it. Congratulations, I found a new homeland. I'm out. Either way, this quote that I was talking about, I'm an idiot. The quote I was talking about is, God has provisioned man with but one emotion, the ability to sense when another may be a threat. This is to say, fear. I think this goes together with the arm wrestling flashback very, very well, but we'll try to get into some of that later. This chapter has been an absolute mind-boggling mess to try and review. It doesn't help that my brain has been absolutely fried lately from a bunch of stuff going on, but we're just going to push through it this time. I'm not restarting this. Either way, getting into it. Yeah, we learned some more stuff. It was about 70 some odd years ago that the Choujin nation and the war Choujin Quem invaded Greater East Asia and Yamato. Yamato is what Japan used to be called, like way back. So yeah, the Greater East Asia and Japan, for anybody who was confused by that. So, we learned that. We also learned the majority of the people that died in this conflict were humans, not Choujin. Go figure. So, yeah, one thing I do want to say real quick, it's very possible that there were a lot of things that led up to this invasion. If I had to take a guess, when Choujin first kind of came around, they probably were not very accepted by regular humans. And I kind of wonder if the Choujin nation may have started as sort of a refugee nation for Choujin under the protection of the war Choujin Quem, protecting them from the rest of the humans in the world. I'm sure they faced all kinds of persecution. But either way, we get one more quote from the war Choujin Quem, and that is that as long as one person is joined by another, they shall, whether consciously or not, fight to the death. And this is what leads us right into the chapter with Tokyo and Azuma still in their fight. Well, I guess it's kind of a scuffle at this point. Next chapter, it's going to turn into a fight because, yes, Tokyo is ready. I say yes like I'm excited about that, but it's also really sad. Like, it's really something you should be excited. I'm hyped. I love fights. I love it. But yeah, it's really sad for Tokyo, what he's going through right now. You can see the tears on his face as he's transforming. There's so much emotion for Tokyo right now. But either way, also, Choujin form, absolutely awesome. I love the really big hands that Ishida gave it this time.
Big, masculine. My hands tell a story of greatness.
It always seems to be slightly different, that form. Ishida doesn't like to really stick to one concrete, exact design. Little differences here and there. He's fine with playing with stuff like that and doing those things, and I'm about it. Either way, yeah. The surface level of this chapter, the things like actually physically happening in the present, not really that important, not a whole lot to it. Azuma is honestly just physically trying to provoke Tokyo into fighting. Azuma's not even going all out on Tokyo right now, Tokyo's not even fighting back, and that's what Azuma wants him to do. If Azuma wants him to fight, he's not gonna treat Tokyo the way he treated Simon. If you slit somebody's throat, they're probably not gonna fight back. I mean, if they raise themselves, they can, but you know what I'm saying. You don't want to just completely batter and bruise and dismantle and destroy somebody and then be like, fight me. Why aren't you fighting me? Oh, maybe I went a little too far. So yeah, Azuma is kind of just beating on Tokyo, trying to provoke him throughout the chapter. Tokyo is just trying to work through this stuff mentally, figure out why is this happening. So yeah, that stuff is a little more surface level. We'll get into Azuma's weird head stuff later. But yeah, right now I do want to look at the flashback. So the first section of the flashback involves Azuma beating the big kid in class, the big strong kid in class. Well, this guy is now suffering from some self-confidence issues. something that Tokyo also suffers from. So, well, he goes to call out Tokyo because he's the one that everybody looks at as the weak little dork of the class. So, make him arm wrestle Azuma, he'll get absolutely demolished, look way worse than me, and nobody will remember that the big kid just lost to a kid half his size. Get up there, Tokyo. Tokyo responds by saying, me? No, I just lose. I'm a weakling. Immediately showing those self-confidence issues. Real quick, having issues with self-confidence and self-esteem to high degrees like Tokyo, we've seen it constantly throughout the series. He lacks it in like vast quantities. That is something that can really, really affect your physical performance. It can affect all kinds of things, but it makes it way, way harder to bring out your full potential in all kinds of different ways, but definitely physically. It might not seem like it, like self-esteem isn't like a physical thing. Like I don't feel a lack of physical esteem in my muscles. It's a mental thing. It's an emotion. It's a thought. But your mental state has a lot to do with bringing out your full physical capabilities and all kinds of other things. But this specifically, Tokyo is not going all out against Azuma. He's not trying his absolute hardest. He's trying what he thinks is his hardest. He is giving what he thinks is his best effort. But if you lack self-esteem, you don't rate yourself properly. You don't understand your own full potential. So what you think is your hardest, what you think is your best, is not your best. It is your own incorrect mental image of your best. So I think that Azuma can tell this. I also think Azuma was giving it his best. He has 100% brought out his full physical capabilities. He's an absolute physical monster at what age are they even? I can't remember. 14, 13, 15, 12, whatever anime manga age you want to be. They're a kid, and this kid is a monster. And yet his hand was twitching. There was sweat on his arm and his hand. Azuma was trying, and I think he could tell that this wasn't everything that Tokyo had. That causes a question in the back of Azuma's mind. Am I stronger than him? Is he looking down on me? Like, is he holding back? Like, because he thinks I'm weaker? Like, what? See, is he looking down on me? That may have been a minor thought at first, or it may have been a major thought, honestly, looking at his reaction, the way he stared at Tokyo with disbelief. Yeah, I think this also is partially a misunderstanding because of what I've been talking about. If Azuma can tell that Tokyo isn't giving it his all, but Tokyo doesn't because of these self-confidence issues, then Tokyo doesn't realize it. And Azuma doesn't realize that Tokyo doesn't realize it. If he did, he would know, no, he's not looking down on me. He doesn't understand what his full capabilities and potential are. Or maybe I'm looking at this incorrectly. Maybe Azuma does understand what's holding Tokyo back. Maybe it's just boiled over after so long. This could go to explain Azuma's outburst at Tokyo earlier in the series, when Tokyo went over to Azuma's house to try and ask him what to do. Azuma had an outburst. Figure it out for yourself. Do it yourself. Have some confidence in yourself. Whatever exactly he was saying. I can't remember exactly. This might be why Azuma has hung around Tokyo so much and been around him and been his friend. He's possibly been, throughout these years, trying to push Tokyo and get Tokyo to have some self-confidence, bring out that potential, so once he has brought that out, once he can be confident in himself, Azuma can then challenge him again, to then prove to Tokyo, and more importantly, to himself, that he is stronger, that he is better. This is also starting to make me realize why I've had such a hard time reviewing this chapter, because I think the most interesting parts of it are the psychological effects of all of these things, and how they've affected Azuma, and how they've affected the relationship between him and Tokyo, how Tokyo's mindset has affected him negatively throughout his life. All of the character interactions, human emotion, human flaws, all of these different things and how they've interacted over the years and built up this just jumbled mess inside of Asuma's head. At least this is kind of how I'm interpreting it or assuming at the moment. Obviously, we have to wait and see for more detail. But it's just so intricate, fluid, and organic that it just makes me want to discuss and theorize and think and talk about, well, this is how this can affect you mentally. And sometimes, once again, people are flawed and they can hold things inside. And sometimes those questions can nag at them and build and start to make them act differently. Sometimes completely lead them down a wrong path or a bad path. This also comes back to Azuma always wanting to choose the right path. There's so much here. Moving to Azuma and the head chain thing. Real quick, the arm things. What are those supposed to be? Scissors? What am I even looking at? Are they just random big blades coming out? I don't even know what those are. I'm gonna call it scissors. Edward Scissorhands. Okay, that's the obvious joke right off the top of the head. But the chains on the head. This may be Azuma shaking off those mental inhibitions that he might have. If I am correct in thinking there's been this nagging question in the back of Azuma's mind this entire time about, am I actually stronger than him? Is he holding back on purpose? Is he looking down on me? I'm sure Azuma also built up plenty of mental blockers and mental inhibitions to stop him from acting on these questions. Just walking right up to Tokyo the next day or as soon as they get out of class and being like, no, fight me. I mean, doing what he's doing right now, he's probably inhibited himself from doing that earlier in life. It's very possible that these chains, the ones he broke earlier and the ones he is now shaking free from, his head, his mentality, his brain, his thoughts, it's possible he is shaking free the mental inhibitions that he has built up to stop himself from doing this, showing that he is willing to go all out, go all the way, truly fight Tokyo, truly figure out which of them is better. Now, with that being said, can somebody please tell me why this kid got smoked by a car? That came out of absolutely nowhere. Did not see that coming one bit. I don't think Azuma did either. Obviously, that is some severe tunnel vision. I'm pretty sure Azuma is faster than moving cars at this point. Seriously, you see why he was zipping around the stupid rooftop? And you get hit by a car? Tunnel vision. Straight up like my dog chasing after a squirrel. One of my biggest fears for that dog is that it will chase a squirrel and be blindsided by a car. Seriously, it is an innate fear of mine. Every time it goes chasing after one, I can mentally see it. Tunnel vision. Like a dog after a squirrel. Jesus God, that was wild. So, yeah. That also leads into what really truly was enough to provoke Tokyo. Azuma beating up on Tokyo was probably never, ever gonna get Tokyo to fight him the way he wants. But a complete lack of care and empathy for others, just throwing them aside like they're worthless and nothing, causing this massive pileup. I don't know if I want to say a massive pileup. It's like 10 cars that crashed on the road. Still not good. Plenty of people probably died there, or at bare minimum were severely injured. So yeah, that was enough to truly spark Tokyo and get him to fight back. Before that, he really just wanted answers. He wants to know why his best friend is doing this. He still probably just wants to know why his best friend is doing this. With all of this being said, I think I'm going to get out of here. Like, this chapter, trying to discuss this and think about all of this has absolutely fried my brain. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the chapter. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Ask me questions. Tell me what you think. Yeah, this was crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later. I'm out.